Hello my dear students, this video is for standard 6. In this video we are going to discuss the form of energy or something which enables us to see all the objects around us. This board is visible, I am visible, this marker is visible just because of that form of energy. Okay, and that form of energy is light. So dear students, when you are said to define light, how do you define it? We can define light as a form of energy which enables us to see different objects. We can define it also like it is a form of energy which produces sensation of vision. Means it enables us, it helps us to see different objects. Even if this form of energy is not visible. Do you understand that? It is the form of energy which is actually not visible. Most of the energy in any form is not seen. Okay? So light is not seen, but the effect of light can be visualized. Okay, so come to the questions that usually arise in our mind. The questions are: why is it called a form of energy? How does it travel? Why is it important? What are the sources of light? When do we classify different objects into transparent, translucent or opaque objects? Or when do we classify, or when do we say that whether an object is a luminous or non-luminous object? So come to the question, which is, why is it called a form of energy? Light is called to be a form of energy because when we take the example of an electric bulb, electrical energy, when we provide electrical energy to it, it gives light. Okay, and when it is giving light, it is producing heat. Means the continuous glow of the bulb results into some heat energy. Heat is also a form of energy, and electricity is also a form of energy. So in between the two processes, the electrical energy is converted into some kind of energy. And if heat is a form of energy, it means it is transformed from some different form of energy, and it is obtained just because of the glow of the bulb, means light. So we consider light as a form of energy because transformation of energy is taking place. Okay, so only energy can be transformed into some kind of energy. That's why we call it a form of energy. The question is, how does it travel? So dear students, as sound travels, light also travels, but the difference is sound requires a material medium to travel, but light is that kind of energy which doesn't require any kind of medium. It can travel in presence of medium or in absence of medium. Means it can travel in vacuum also. That's why this is also called as an electromagnetic wave. Okay. Now, the question is, why is it important in our day-to-day life? It is important in our day-to-day life to see different objects. It has several applications. Like, if I am visible, it is just due to this form of energy, so it is important. Okay, so it became very easy to grasp knowledge, to consider some views, some ideas about something when we see different objects around us. Okay, so it is important, and it is also important in different chemical processes as well, that we shall come to know in further classes. Now let us come to the sources of light. What are the sources of light? See, you can see the light outside coming from the sun. So sun can be called to be a source of light. An electric bulb is a source of light. A candle, when it is flame, a candle flame can also be a source of light. A torch, when it is on, it is also a source of light. So sources of light can be artificial or natural. So some natural sources of light are stars, sun, firefly also, and some man-made sources or artificial sources of light are torch, candle, electric bulb, etc. These are all man-made sources of light. Now the question is, if light is falling on different type of objects, on that basis, how are they classified? Why do we classify them into different categories? See, when light falls on a surface, what can happen there? If light falls on the surface, it can be absorbed, or it can be reflected back, or it can pass through it. Three conditions can be there. Either light can pass through it, or light can be reflected from this surface, or the third one is light can be absorbed, means light is neither passing through the object nor reflected. Okay, so there are three different objects on this basis, and the object through which light can completely pass, the object is classified into the category called transparent. Okay, like glass, water, air, these are some materials through which light can completely pass. It is not bounced back by this. And the second one is translucent. In translucent objects, when light falls on the surface of a translucent object, light is partially absorbed or partial light passes through that object. I mean, the objects which allow light to pass through it partially, means only some part of light is passing through it. Those objects are called translucent objects. And those which do not allow light to pass through it, such as this duster, if light is falling onto it, on this surface, it is not passing through it. It doesn't allow the light falling on it to pass through, and hence this is called an opaque object. And one more thing is there, an opaque object forms a dark shadow. Means if a transparent or translucent object is placed near to it, you can find that a transparent object doesn't have any kind of shadow. A translucent object has a shadow, but it is not that sharp as that of the opaque object. Okay. So I think now transparent, translucent and opaque object is clear. So how do we define the different objects into three different categories? Now the question is, when do we say that the object which is source of light, means different objects are there, like sun, moon, or different objects like this world also. These are all seen, but are they luminous? Are they really source of light? Actually no. An object which doesn't have its own light are not luminous. Means the object which have their own light, like the sun has its own light, the candle flame has its own light, torch has its own light. So these sources of light can be called to be luminous objects. Okay, and those which only reflect the light of others, like we are seeing, this board is seen just because this board, this marker, these all objects are reflecting the light coming from the sun, and hence these objects are seen. So these objects are not luminous, these are non-luminous objects which just reflect the light of the other object, means other luminous objects, and hence they are called non-luminous. So moon is also an example of non-luminous object. Okay, so this is all in this video. If you have any kind of doubt or any problem regarding these topics, you can mention there in the comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day.